Tarzan is in no way a superhero. There's a mythology there. I'll give you that. But it's not, I can shoot laser beams out my eyes. I can fly. I can teleport. I shoot lightning bolt out my butthole, you know?
Oh, you've read Trencher.
You know, sometimes you got to shoot lightning bolt out your butthole. God knows my boy would find it amusing. I'm just glad that I don't. I'd probably destroy way more than I already do. But that's neither here nor there.
I have a question.
Please.
Does Shame have a favorite candy bar? And
Shame?
if so, yeah. And what is it?
It's one of those, like caramel or one of those chocolate bars, but it's called the milk of human kindness. Not.
Okay. What does her kid like?
What?
What does her kid prefer?
Her kid? Well, I don't know. After spending her childhood in hell, she's pretty happy to have anything warm and tasty,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But you have to. But if you've read the book, you'd know that her kid is her mother.
Why you got to give spoilers, bro? I told you I plan to read it. I'm sorry I haven't had time yet.
Oh, that is like so. There's so much more.
Okay. No more spoilers, bro. I don't like spoilers.
That's no spoiler. I didn't tell you how that happened.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. And y'all go find out how that happened as well and pick that up. Like I said, there'll be links in the description. You can fully check it out.
And if you want to get away from the feels, you can always read my romance comic.
Which may get you in a different type of field.
Well, it's called necromantic. You know what that is? Love of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's a spy book. It's about spies and spec ops soldiers and shoot 'em ups. Sort of.
Stop making me look. I swear to God, the longer I run this show, the longer my pull list gets at the damn comic book store I go to.
Did Stephen? I'm trying to remember the title. Stephen wrote a book that had to do with the Kennedy assassination. Have you read that?
The American?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm sorry. I'd have to Google it up. But
no, man. I apologize. It was. God damn. Who wrote? No, it was Mark that wrote The American. Oh my God. Too many names. I love y'all though for coming on the show. I want to point that out, and I'm terrible with names, and that's just the point that it is, and that's why Hardaway shakes his head like this motherfucker. I am the unknown factor, you know.
And you haven't even asked me about the time that Jack Kirby put me in a headlock.
Wait, what? The hell are you speaking on?
Firstly,
First time I met him.
The fact, we're gonna get into that in just one moment. In just one moment, we're gonna get into that. But the fact that you had one of the, I'll say three, because if you really, really, really know the Marvel Universe, there are really three guys that truly created it. That being Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko.
I love Ditko.
Yeah, because without those three people, the MCU as you know it, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't exist in any capacity. Without those three individuals. And I love the fact that Stan Lee got to do everything he did. It kind of sucks to me as a fan that I think Steve and Jack never get the representation that they should, you know, because without their art, Stan's stories don't work the way that they did. I also love the fact that I was at least able to meet one of the three, that being Stan, at a very young age, before they've all passed. May they all rest in peace. How the hell did you piss off Jack enough he put you in a headlock?
Who said I pissed him off?
Oh, well, then
Yeah,
I really
yeah,
think
he
the
didn't say
story
that. Then you
now.
got to
Hold
tell,
on.
let him tell the
I
story.
just
You're making
yeah, I'm just
assumptions.
gonna
Now look
sit
at you.
back and smoke this cigar and enjoy some story time.
We were
Yeah.
I was at the San Diego Comic Con when it used to be in the Civic Center, and there was no barriers between anybody. So I sat down, first Comic Con there, I sat down at the table with Walter Koenig for lunch, and we yacked about comic books and how I was from Canada. And I was walking around, and Jack was walking around with Roz, and I was like, shit, that's Jack Kirby. So I was like getting over there quick, right? And I went over and said hello, and he was like, he mistook me for this guy that he met in Chicago.
Mm.
And the guy that he met in Chicago, fortunately for me, was a martial artist like I was. And he was like, you still doing all your martial arts stuff and that? And he goes down into a little boxing pose and gives me a couple of shots in the ribs, and then steps in and throws his arm around me and gets me in a headlock and gives me a noogie.
Okay, that's a beautiful story. I think the thing that I love about it more
He got a
than
noogie
anything
from
is you
Jack
had a
Kirby.
moment with Jack Kirby, very similar to that I did with Stan Lee. As far as the very beginning of it, he didn't put me in a headlock and give me a noogie. Oh my God, as a 15 year
Oh,
old, if Stan Lee would have put me in a headlock, look, I got a picture with him. It's good. I don't think I've ever told this
I
whole
wish I
story.
had.
I,
I
I,
wish I
I,
had. I
I
spent a
man,
lot of
look,
time with Stan, but I don't have any pictures.
it was a privilege. It was, but I was standing in line for Todd McFarlane to meet and have a little moment with him. And my dad goes, "Who's that?" Because there was a guy kind of had a group of people around him, and I went, "Oh shit, that's Stan Lee." And I took out of a door, and in Chicago, like I'm in Chicago, I'm 15 years old, and I take out of a door, look at just out of a door at the convention center. I have no idea if I can get back in this door. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. And I'm like, hey Stan, do you have a moment, man? I'd love to get a picture. His agent is like, no, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. He
yeah,
legit
yeah.
tells his agent, no, man, take this picture for this kid, you know? And
No, Stan was great
yeah,
with the audience like that. He was really good. Yeah, I've heard so many stories like that where he's like, "Come on, kids here." Really good
Hmm.
stuff.
yeah, that's a
Very,
look,
yeah.
that's a code to live up to right there as far as just
Hey, the best part of the Jack thing was we talked a little bit about that after, and his wife was standing there for a while. It was Roz, and somebody came up, and Jack said, "Oh, it's good to see you again." Shook hands and all that, and he moved on. And Roz came over to me, and she took my hand in both of her hands, and she said, "Thank you so much. That was very gracious of you," because she knew I wasn't that guy from Chicago. And I was like, oh man, I'm part of the family now.
that's that's a
Did you know
great
that?
story.
Did you know that she used to help him with inks on his stuff?
Yeah, I was aware of a little bit that
Yeah,
she
yeah,
had a touch of what she always added a touch. Yeah.
yeah. I colored in the what is it? One of the hardcover collections. I think it was the greatest stories of the 1950s, and I got to color the Challengers of the Unknown that Jack had done a story in there. And I was looking at it, and I got called by the editor, who said, we can't nail down who was doing the inks on this. We think it was Jack and somebody else. And I said, well, if it's somebody else, it's probably Roz was doing backgrounds or stuff like that. And the editor was like, oh, of course, I should have known that. I was like, it was great. So it was nice knowing her. Just
That's
like, meeting Ramona Fradone.
uh Man, I feel like we could sit.
I mean, how long is the list of the people that you've met?
That's what I was getting
A
ready to say.
lot.
I feel like we
Very,
could sit
very
and hear
long.
stories.
There's a thing that my publisher does at cons when we're doing panels, and he says, all we're going to do for the rest of the panel is get names, and Lovern will tell you a story about them.
Oh, that's
that's funny.
awesome. I swear, Lovern, just so you know, firstly, I love how this quest is going. I appreciate you for joining us on it. I hope
it's
you
fun.
join us for a round table of Canadians.
Ah, cool.
That's my plan. For everyone watching this, just so you know, there'll be a round table dropping next week, right? Right around there. I don't know. I know we said the flyer said Wednesday at 7. It became Wednesday at 7 and Saturday at 7 for a little while because we just did a lot of dope interviews with a lot of dope individuals. And I was like, I don't need this much crap stacked to where this dude's like, bro, we did that interview 3 months ago. Why the hell isn't it out? I mean, that's just the truth of it. But I do look forward. So I'm curious, when you're just sitting around with a bunch of creators, what do you find the topic goes to most? Like, is there a central topic that just tends to come up every time that a group of you are all collected together?
You mean when we're finished bitching?
Yeah. So it does not change from any profession.
No, it does not.
Yeah, when you're finished bitching, crap sack, bro. What the
hell? It's a lot of trade talk in that, and then it'll break down into, like, if it's a bunch of guys that I don't know really well, and maybe I only know one of them, then it ends up going to them saying, like, when you started it, like, how the hell did you get the company up in that? And so I'll talk about stuff like that. But when we're just yakking about stuff, I don't know. I think it's like any conversation. Somebody will say, "Hey, have you seen Black Adam yet?" Or something like that. And we'll talk about the latest movie, or at Halloween, somebody will say, "Oh man, I need a list of really scary movies that you recommend because my kid's 15 now and they can see them," and something like that. Of course,
let me ask you.
I read Watchmen with my daughter when she was 11.
Mature.
That kind of has a rape scene in it.
Yeah, we had a really good discussion about it. I'm with Ellen Moore. I'm not big on censoring stuff.
I mean, that's true, and I think at 11, I think technically, yeah, a child should know that because it's God, I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but it's something that could happen, and if they're aware of it, at least
I'll say it. I've said it in a documentary. When I was 9 years old, I was molested by my babysitter. And when I was in high school, I was molested by my principal/guidance counselor.
Now, I can't say principal and guidance counselor, but I can say babysitter, family, a friend of a family.
Why has everybody in this room got something in common that's just really not cool?
Hey,
because
shit's out there,
pretty.
and I would rather my 11-year-old had an idea of stuff like that happens in the world, and maybe she's leery about. I don't want her to think that, oh yeah, all of the Boy Scout counselors are fine, and oh yeah, your coach in gymnastics, he's fine. No, I would like them to be able to question, like, I don't like this situation, so I'm not going over to your place.
So let me to that ilk. Let me ask you, man, why is it you think it's a society that we don't want children to question so much? Because as a parent,
now you're getting
Oh no, no,
Dude,
yeah,
now
we're
you're
gonna
getting
get
into
deep, bro.
politics.
You didn't know that. This is the questionnaire. We got all kinds of quests. I want to like, cause as a parent, bro, like when my kid gets to that point, I fully agree with you. I want him to question individuals' motives and why they're doing what they're doing, and is it for their good or is it for the benefit of the child to to plant a tree that you'll never see grow all the way? To quote, I don't know who the hell.
I don't know. I mean, you dust your potato plants so the bugs won't eat them. Why wouldn't you give your kids some protection?
You dust your anal glands?
Potato
Eh,
plants.
Oh,
oh my
Jesus
Jesus.
Christ, I heard that wrong. I was like, you dust your anal glands? Hold on a sec now. Can we get
My daughter's 3 and knows not to touch any of my weapons and saves and stuff like that for them. She understands wholeheartedly that the only weapons that she can play with are the foam ones, her wooden bokens that she can train in
Yeah,
with, and stuff like that. She knows not to touch knives, touch the stove, and whatnot without
yeah,
supervision and whatnot because she doesn't know how to do it herself fully, which means she has to learn and train.
right.
So she will, if she wants to do something, she'll ask you if you can show her how, and she'll keep asking you to show her how until she can do it herself.
Yeah,
Um,
that's how you make the tree grow up straight, to use your metaphor there.
mass? The well, that's not my metaphor. I'm
And
not.
and
Again, I'm
that's how
not.
you make sure it's got deep roots, so that she's not going to blow with the wind, you know.
mhm.
Let me ask you then, Laverne. How do you think that we make it to where that's something that's more just in society and ingrained, as opposed to shut up, do your job, and go about it?
It's what Hardaway,
Yep.
yes, it's what he was talking about. You start with the children. You teach the children empathy. You teach them how to discern stuff. You teach them how to question. Like, I think anybody who raises a kid not to, like, the old thing, like, oh, you don't question your father, you do what he tells you. No, I think that he should. And I was a questioning child, and I learned to from bad experiences to be more questioning about stuff. And even with that experience in my past, I you fall any victim of rape or sexual assault, they're going to go into the blaming themselves because they could have done something to avoid it. They didn't have to listen to that guy. They didn't have to go over to his place after school, whatever. And they're going to take the blame on themselves. I mean, I did it.
All
And
right. So I got. Oh,
go ahead.
continue. Oh no, I was gonna. As a parent, I would like us all to answer this one. What is the most common question your kid asks you?
I mean, I'll let you
uh,
go. Like,
well,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I have three daughters, and the eldest is in her 40s. So the questions have changed over the years, but um, it's like what you were saying earlier about your 3-year-old wants to know how to do that. So it's usually it's like, how is that? Why is that? And the questions are about everything because the world's expanding for them. So it's not, I can't say they asked about cars all the time, because sometimes they did. Sometimes they talked about horses. Sometimes they wanted to know about books. So that when, and I would give them an honest answer, so that if my daughter took one of my books out of my bookshelf and started to open it in a way that was going to tear the pages, and I would take it away from her and I'd say, you can't do that way. I will allow you to have this, see how to turn it. And I would show them how to do things that was not so much the right way, but the way that what they weren't going to get in trouble for, the way that was respectable. When I remember taking my first two girls,
I like
when
to
they were
call that
young.
the good foundation. It's like
Yeah,
you're going to build your own way. You're going to find your own way. It's guaranteed. But
yeah,
here's the foundation that you build upon.
yeah,
And like, cause like for like my daughter, I play Warhammer, so I have models that are like $200-300,
yeah,
and my friends will sit there and be like, "How are you just letting her walk around with it?" Because like I said, she's 3 years old. She's been doing it when she was 2,
yeah.
and they're like, "Aren't you worried that she's gonna drop it?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, she can pick it up, she can carry it around, she'll go take it off my table, go show her mom, like, look what daddy did, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. And I have no qualms with it. She'll pick up my books, my comics, anything like that. I have zero worry about it. Now, when she was a infant, paper, she couldn't touch none of my paper because she needed it. so she couldn't touch none of that. But I
I feel
got
like
on my comic book boxes, I got teeth marks. But my daughter's most common question, my daughter would ask me. She asked me the who's, the what's, and the whys, and the wheres,
Oh yeah.
and whatnot. But her main one is, why does Daddy always say fuck?
Ah,
Because I allow my kid to cuss. Like, I
yeah,
don't. If I can cuss, she can cuss. You know what I'm saying? I try not to cuss at people, so I tell her not to cuss at people.
yeah.
Um, and whatnot. Now, if they disrespect you, on the other hand, the
fuck
hand
them.
goes up. Exactly. Do what you got to do. She's 3 and already made the 6-year-old boy cry for disrespecting her. It's like, and she didn't lay no hands on him. So it's like,
Oh shit.
don't do it. I'm like, don't do it. She's dating. I was like, she's a beautiful, lovely, kind girl, but if you cross that line, you
Yeah.
know, God ain't gonna save you. So it's
I
pray
feel
all
like,
you
man,
want.
I feel like I have a very different answer.
Because
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel like
because she knows that. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember getting a record player, and I had a record as a birthday present, and it was a Yogi Bear thing because I was like, I don't know, it was like 7 or 8. Anyway, it was the golden rule, do unto others.
as they
As you
do
want to be
unto
treated,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
It's got that cachet for a reason.
Man, I fully. Oh man, wait, I flipped that. It's do unto others as you want done unto you. I said do unto others as they do unto you. Oh shit, I made that really dark. My bad. I can't help it.
You, oh no, that's no, that's supposedly that's really good in arguing. Tit for tat works apparently.
Sadly, but as far as my answer, Hardaway, it's very different, which I think you would be aware of because my boy's 3. He's autistic. I'm self-diagnosed autistic, which we've gotten into in a past episode. Whatever, I ain't getting into more for that. If you don't support autism, by the way, and you're watching this show, fuck you a little bit. All right, I'm gonna say that as the dude that does that is the fucking like as a host of this show. If you're not down with that, do me a favor, turn this shit the fuck off. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being a dick. Like I literally like pull the
Oh,
Chappelle as far as fuck you. Don't watch this show if you ain't down with autism. I don't give a
No,
shit. Right? Yeah.
I had an autistic kid. I'm not sure where he was in the spectrum in that, but when I was teaching at the university, and you know,
It's a beautiful thing if it's treated.
Everybody has their ways of learning.
Yeah.
Everybody has their ways of dealing.
So as far as the
But
question that he asked me the most though is probably cars because he wants me to come play cars, even though he's getting way more verbal now. But I mean, like I said, he's only 3.
yeah,
I mean, we've been working with him a lot. So as much as I talk to him and try, and I'm not getting into the fuckery of my life, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't have time for it. To be real honest, at this particular moment, go read some of his work, and you might be able to find out a little bit about it. Apparently, but I do think it's funny based on the conversation we're on that this is what I was reading because you all need to be aware of that. Like, if
I
I
haven't
don't
read
know
it.
if you read that book, Laverne?
No, no,
I
I'm terrible. I've at a certain point I got overflow of comics, and I was in a comic book store, and I had a pile of comics, and I had my budget, and I was looking at stuff, and I couldn't make up my mind about what I wanted, and I just put them all down, and I said, you know what, I really don't want any of these, and I stopped buying comics for a long time.
Well, look, I can understand that. There was a point where I did that as far as my pull list was excessive. That's why now I only buy graphic novels, right?
Oh yeah.
For a couple reasons. One, it's more like I can sit and enjoy a chunk of the story and not have to wait month for month and not have like 10 different stories going on in my head because I already have 1,000 different things going on in my life. So I understand that once you reach an older age. But as well as it gives me an instant piece of the story so I can figure out if I like it or not and not have to worry about dicking around with the rest of it or continue reading it all. But if you want something dark that, in my opinion, shows a lot about society, if you realize the monsters that they show in that book, they're real. Y'all just don't see them. Something like Killing the Children is wonderful. It really is. I'm on the final volume. It's been great. Not to promo somebody I ain't even got booked, but y'all come on,
Yeah.
right?
Have you read? Are you aware of the Tarzan collection of stories that I read from Dark Horse?
No, I'm aware of them.
The title is.
When did those come out? Give me a year. Like approximately.
I'd have to go and look. I'd have to go and look it up.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it right around the
90s?
same time that they were dropping all the initial Alien Predator shit?
Yeah, around then.
Okay, see, because I was a fan. That's why I say shout out to the dude that answers the phone at Dark Horse, man. I love you so much, bro. I hope you've tuned in at some point. I wish I could remember your name, but it was just one phone call. And as we've noted, I'm really, really, really bad with names. But yeah, I remember. I think I might have had an issue or two of that, honestly, at some point.
Well, it was supposed to be. I was supposed to write a 2-issue fill in between longer runs, like say if Tim Truman was doing a 6-issue thing, then before the next guy started, they were going to insert like a 2-issue story by me. And I'm not sure what happened, but they ended up, their schedule got blown. Somebody dropped out, and I ended up having to, all 6 issues that I wrote, 3 stories, ended up coming out together. And I got nominated for Best Writer in the Harveys for them. And so they actually collected them. You can get the trade paperback. I think it's still on Amazon. It's got a French name. And I think a lot of people don't buy it because they think it's going to be a French book, but it's all English inside. It's the title is Le Monstre, or L-E Monstre, French, the monster.
Yeah.
And what it is an examination of who's the monster in the story. And the first story is Tarzan meets the Phantom of the Opera. And who's the monster in that story?
Laverne, like Dave's gonna be happy because there was nothing on my pull list, and now I'm gonna be like, hey, I need you to get me these 3 graphic novels.
Oh, hey, my big moment with that was it was great being nominated for Best Writer. I did not win, but being nominated was great. But I remember being at San Diego and. Boy, I hate this. It's too late in the day for me to be remembering names correctly. But you remember Dave, who did The Rocketeer?
You're making me wish I was already set up the way I'll be set up for the round table, but whatever. We got to run the way we got to run, and that's how you got to run, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need to make sure you get your comic on and click the links in the description, right? They download right there. Check out all this because you'll be able to find out more information than we're apparently all remembering at the moment.
There is that.
Google.
No, they don't need
All right,
Google.
all right. All right, look. Before anybody else gets sidetracked, I want to sidetrack us.
Oh, good. Anyway,
All
I
right.
got a great compliment on that. That was his favorite book he was reading at the time.
Ah,
And I was like, you wrote The Rocketeer. I love that book. And Rocketeer was made into a movie. It was a big deal. And there he is saying, I love what you did with Tarzan.
I bet that's another comic book based movie. A lot of people don't realize was based on a comic even.
I didn't because I love that movie.
See, there's right there. There's an individual that's watched that movie and loved it and wasn't aware. It just amazes me how much comics have permeated into the film and TV industry and people aren't aware. But go ahead and sidetrack Hardaway.
Oh, yes. Um, if there is a comic book character in any of the industries that you got to toy with, who would it be?
Huh. Who would I love to write? Boy. Well, I had pitches for Superman that never went anywhere because the editor in chief then was telling me that Superman would never do that stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
Actually,
wait! Before you go any farther, do what stuff?
Yeah.
save the world.
Yeah.
Wait,
I ain't gonna give away my pitch.
ah, fine.
I might
I
be able
love it.
I might be able to see right now. I don't know if somebody asked me to write stuff, I'd have to look at anything, because if you're a writer, you write. And if somebody called me up and said, we want you to write a creeper story, I would be thrilled. Or same thing with if it was Batman or Doctor Strange, any of that. But I'm actually putting together a pitch I want to send out to DC, because I've reworked an old character of theirs to come into to modern times. And you ever read The Crimson Avenger?
I'm slightly aware. I was never.
Okay.
I
Yes.
can't lie. When it came to comics, I was always more of a. I was always more of the other, as opposed to the big two.
I
But
just
when
gotta
it came
make
to the big
sure
two, I
that
was
is what
way
I'm
more Marvel than I
thinking
was
about.
DC. I swear to God, Hardaway, if you don't stop flipping your damn phone,
Better?
you are
The
causing so
Crimson
many editing problems for me, bro. I'm gonna
the Crimson
Yes, I
Avenger.
go
do.
go make
I
more
was just making
TikToks.
sure.
I swear to God.
Don't give me it up. Look, there's
But go.
a
Hey,
legit.
hold
When
on.
he said the name, I wanted to make sure it was who I was thinking it was, because like for some reason I had the when he said the Crimson Avenger, I had what the Crimson Avenger looks like, but with a giant ass chin sticking out like the Crimson Chin from this cartoon I used to watch. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sitting here confusing, like not confusing, I'm like fusing the Crimson Chin and the Crimson Avenger. So I had this Dick Tracy
Oh,
looking ass dude with a black mask with a giant ass chin. You know
Go.
what I'm saying? So look,
yeah.
yeah, that's where it was in my head. But I had to make sure that I was going crazy for a second, and that's why that all happened. And um, my
Can
bad.
we get your pitch?
Huh? Oh, I'm not. I'm working stuff up now. I've got an artist that I'd like to be drawing it in that, and it's basically the Crimson Avenger today, and it's not like I know Jeff Johns did I think it was Jeff Johns did a refit of it where the Crimson Avenger had like magic guns, and so it didn't have bullets in it, but you could still shoot people in that. It was a woman. Um, they brought it back, I think, at around the same time as Suicide Squad first came out, and there was a mini series then. But it was originally a character in the 40s, I think, and it was basically a ripoff of The Shadow.
Mm.
But the one I want to do isn't a vigilante superhero kind of guy. This is a guy who's a criminal. So that's who I want to have as the Crimson Avenger.
That's intriguing. Yeah, that's very intriguing. Can I say we discussed a lot of
He robs the shit out
comics
of
being in
Ben.
film, right? I do love your favorite film and TV shows based on a comic, man. There's one there that is another example, in my opinion. I bet a lot of people didn't know was based on a comic book, right? Because I think V for Vendetta, I think people commonly know. I think From Hell, maybe not so much. That's about
Yeah.
half and half. But then that other one you mentioned, I know when I initially watched it, even though I was a comic book fan at the time, I didn't know. I came to find out later, that, oh, that's based on a comic book. That being Brendan Lee's final performance, unfortunately. Again, may he rest in peace. I have said that more times on this episode than any other. What the hell? But The Crow.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Made it such a great adaptation? And do you really do you think even now, I almost guarantee there are people that are going to watch this episode and going, The Crow is a comic?
It was a great comic. Very different from the movie.
Agreed. Yeah, because I went back and read it at a later point in time in my life.
Oh yeah, Jim did beautiful work on that. But yeah, it's I don't know. It was I met Brandon a few times in that, and he was good friends with a friend of mine, Steve Leiloa, and unfortunately, I was with Steve the night that it happened, and Steve got a call, and that it was very bad. But I don't know if that had something to do with it when it got released. That people heard about Brandon dying and wanted to see the film. That thing that people have where they slow down for the car accident.
Yeah, morbid curiosity.
If there's any blood. But yeah, maybe that was part of it. But I think the main thing is that when they got to see it, it was a very satisfying kind of story, and it was a different kind of revenge. And that, I mean, revenge stories still sell. People want to see Chuck Norris go and kill everybody in a skyscraper because they were the company that put the dirty water that poisoned his kid. So,
yeah, I mean, you can, and I can't tell you how many revenge stories Dwayne The Rock Johnson has done at this point. You know what I mean? If you really look through everything that he's done, where it's like somebody snatched up his kid or this or that, or and I mean, all the Die Hard films are pretty much exactly that. So yeah,
or his puppy, John Wick.
Man, look, leave the damn dog alone.
So why you got beef with Constantine then? And as someone that has both, why you got beef with I assume you're referring to the movie when you say Constantine, right?
Yeah, it was as a standalone thing, looking at the movie itself, and that it was, there was a few things that I thought didn't work about it. I didn't think it was terrible, but I was very much more, I was happier about seeing the the TV Constantine that they had in the he had his own series for a while, and then he was in the time travel thing. I like the actor, and he had the right look in that. I had the wonderful experience when I was coloring Hellblazer, that I went to England, and I took a train up to York, where Richard Piers Rayner, the artist, was drawing Hellblazer. And when I pulled into the train station and got off the train, John Constantine greeted me. because Richard used a model to draw John Constantine.
Okay, because I swear I've heard this story somewhere, and I thought you meant like, and that's fine, but I swear I've heard a story somewhere about somebody like literally seeing John Constantine and then he was just gone.
Well, everybody's seen John Constantine. You know who he's modeled after. Have you seen the movie Brimstone and Treacle?
Not me.
No.
The star of the movie is Sting. And
As
from
someone
what
that's yeah.
and I think it was Rick Veitch that told me that when they were doing the Swamp Thing stuff, that Alan saw Brimstone and Treacle, and he saw the character that Sting was playing, and he told them that that's who Constantine is and looks like. So when he was being first drawn in the Swamp Thing books, take a look at it. It's a portrait of Sting.
Huh. That's
So
All right.
that's
yeah,
very
the character in
intriguing.
that movie.
Yeah, but as you tell me that, I can totally see that from the Hellblazer issues that I've read in the past. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's and I do totally agree with you though. It is I like the series that they did with Constantine as opposed to the movies. The series one was so much true to the comic book as far as the story and everything that they did.
Yeah.
And two, no offense to Keanu Reeves, bro, you're a dope actor. Do what
Oh
you
no,
do.
I love him.
Yeah, do what
Great.
you do. I'm glad. The actor that played Constantine in the series, whose name escapes me, my bad, because didn't Mark Verheyen work on that? Hardaway?
Did he?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I
Motherfucker,
remember.
we just had that conversation like a week and a half ago.
And you expect me to remember with all the stuff that's been going on?
Fine, whatever. I don't have that questionnaire and whatever. I'm pretty positive because yeah, man, because he said he met the actor. Yeah, it was Mark. Mark, if it wasn't you, I apologize.
Oh no, I met the actor as well.
Oh, but I mean, he actually worked on the show though. Like as
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Mark is the man.
Yeah. It was a pleasure having him on. Check out his interview as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Guy's
just think
genius.
he played that role so much better, and he literally looked like the Constantine from the comics. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it was
Where
great.
where Keanu Reeves, like I said, I love him as an actor. He just didn't. There's something about that role I don't think he quite fits. Maybe you need to be
that's the one movie he wants to do.
Huh?
He really wants to play John Constantine.
Oh,
again.
I know for a fact Keanu Reeves wants to come back to the DCU I know it's just the DCU now. They shortened it. That's right. To play John Constantine.
That's not. Yeah, I would not cast him as John Constantine. I thought he did fine, but if I was going to be putting him in a comic book movie, it wouldn't be that.
All right. Who would you cast Keanu Reeves as?
Yeah.
Oh. I wish there was only 3 characters because then I could pick one very quickly.
Yeah, no, there's more like 300,000 or some shit.
I don't know. He would have to be some kind of Batman kind of darker
I can see him
character.
as the old Nightwing. I can see him as an old Nightwing. Easy.
Whatever. I want to see him cast
he would
as
do
a
that
villain.
because he'd be. I mean, that Nightwing by then would be so jaded, he'd be serious as shit.
Which would, I could totally see that playing well. But I personally would rather see him cast as a villain. I don't know necessarily what villain, but I think it would be interesting.
Deathstroke.
Who's your favorite DC villain? Huh?
I said, if Keanu Reeves is playing a villain, I will put him as Deathstroke.
Oh yeah.
The way he goes around doing John Wick, there's no way he wouldn't kill. He would kill it as Deathstroke.
But that's more of an anti-hero.
Or the guy with the guns.
Red Hood.
He would be an amazing Red Hood. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a good Red Hood.
Oh
I
yeah.
hope DC is listening because I do think that is a phenomenal casting, but I don't think they'd ever do it because I think if they're likely to bring him back as anybody, it will be Constantine. Let me ask you that then, man. Like, why do you think it is that Marvel was just able to boom and take Iron Man, which let's be real fucking honest, was in no way, shape, or form, in any way, shape, or form, their most popular character when the Iron Man movie came out. Like in the comic books, I'm pretty like, you know what I mean? It's just no, right? Take this character and blow him up. DC has access to every one of their main characters. They can't create a universe properly. No offense to anyone over at DC. I hope Black Adam sets things straight and what you got with the Flash does okay and the dude playing the Flash calms down, right? Just calm down, bro. Just calm down.
Yeah,
Um,
that's one character nobody at DC would ever let me write.
what, the Flash?
Yeah, the Flash. After having enough people telling me that I didn't seem to get their characters properly, I created my own character, my own Flash.
Why do you say they wouldn't let you write the Flash specifically?
I'm too cynical and much too dark.
I mean, you got to be a little. That's like so. You shouldn't write Spider-Man either, is what you're saying.
Probably not. I
Unless
wrote
it's a
Look,
superior. You could do
have you
Superior Spider-Man, but not
but
did you
hold
Parker.
read?
on.
Hey,
But
did
see,
you read
here's the thing.
Victorian?
Hmm?
Hmm?
The what? The Victorian?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I looked at it, and yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. But if they're saying that you're too cynical and too dark or morbid or whatever and whatnot, that sounds like you should be co-writing the Flash. You should write every Zoom part.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's much too nice.
Like, if you did the actual like speedster villains for the Flash, that would be pretty cool.
I would
Because
let me
you
Adam.
will take them to a whole new like they already tried to make Zoom all super dark and whatnot when he was like, I killed your mother, and he was all super buff and had like 50 fucking muscles in places that he didn't even need to have.
Bro,
Man looked like he had
bro,
3 dicks
hold
and
on.
5 testicles.
Hardaway, Hardaway.
What?
You're talking about the Reverse Flash, not Zoom.
Reverse
Zoom's a different.
Flash, yeah, that's right.
Zoom is a
Reverse
different
Flash. Well,
character. Just
yeah,
not to
no,
be a
yeah,
comment.
no,
Like when it
you
comes to
right, you
DC, there's a
right.
couple characters that I like, and in all honesty, the Flash is one of them. In all sincerity, though,
Understand
Laverne,
I'm
I would
going on
love to
3 hours.
see. Yeah, oh, it's good. I would love to see a slightly darker version of Barry Allen because I can't think of a time that that's ever been done. You know
Hang
what I
on one
mean?
second.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. If you got all the speedsters to go hard,
Can you see that?
yeah,
That's my
that's pretty
speed.
cool.
You see what his name is?
No, pull down a little bit.
Speed.
You got to put down a little bit.
Speed. Ah, what's it? Ah.
And do you know who did this artwork?
Uh-uh.
Jason Pearson.
But who?
Is this not beautiful?
I do think
That's
I would.
who.
You
Who
don't
did
have
you
a
say did
comic
that?
book with him?
Wait, who did you say did that though?
Jason Pearson did that back in '93.
Oh, okay.
It was going to come out in. It was going to be published in Black Ball Comics and that, and I forget how many books they got out, but it was when sales were starting to go down, and they just went out of business before they could publish it.
Now, what's your whole?
I had his intro. His intro was going to be a crossover with Trencher, a backup story in Trencher.
What do you think? What do you think about that, man? As far as the evolution of the comic book industry, to where initially, I mean, back when you started, if you wanted to get into the comic book industry and get published, there weren't a lot of options. You know what I mean? It's like being a wrestler. If you want to really, really make it, there's two companies to go to, and that's really it. And hell, there's only two in the past 3 years. Before that, there was a decade where there was only one.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the comic industry has never been like that. There's always at least been the major two, as opposed to now where there are so many different publishing companies. And
Yeah.
then you've got people that are just, doing Kickstarters to run their own comics. Check out
Oh, yeah.
Kickstarter Comics, you know what I mean? Episode dropping hopefully every Friday if I can keep up with that too, but that's a whole different story. I know 2 episodes have already dropped at least. Because we're trying to kickstart comics over here. But I mean, what's just your overall opinion on that? Just the change from it being, oh, if you want to do this, you have to deal with this, to, oh, if you want to do this, you can do it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, the only reason I got my break is because I was in an elevator at the right time. And I had been showing my portfolio to George Freeman for years, and he was telling me, just how bad I was so that I would learn to be better. And I went to pay my rent once, and I was in the elevator going up to pay my rent because my landlady had disappeared. That's another story. And George was in the elevator, and George was like, "Oh, hey, Lovern, you coming for the tryout?" And I was like, "What tryout?" And he said, "Well, my assistant is moving away, and I've called a few guys, and I called this person that we knew, and he got a hold of you." And I said, "No, he didn't get a hold of me." And he said, "Well, you're in luck, because if you come up this afternoon, I can give you a tryout, and you can be my assistant on Elric." And I did the tryout, and I got the job in that. But if I hadn't been in that elevator at that time, somebody else would have got the job.
Mhm.
And because I got that job as George's assistant, I was able to get enough work to give to his agent, and his agent said, "This looks good. I think I can sell it." And he decided to represent me. Like, to get into the DC offices like that at that time, that was really tough. And he managed to get me a tryout job, which was Batman Annual, the one that Alan Moore wrote, called Mortal Clay. And that was my tryout job, and they loved the color. And Richard Brunning, I think, had gone over from First Comics, where I had started working, and he was doing the art direction at DC, and he knew my name, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know of that guy. He did this stuff." So suddenly they went, "Okay, so he's not, a complete comic book virgin. He knows about deadlines and stuff like that. So we'll give him the tryout. If we like it, then we can give him books." So I did the tryout, and I got 3 books offered to me the next week. It was like, wow.
Yeah, man.
And now you don't need to do that. You can do your own book. You can, if you're decent at social media and stuff, you can put that thing in. You can get your, you can build up I don't know, you can build up a fan base on DeviantArt, or start your own Patreon up. I heard there was a woman that was just doing, what was she started doing now? I'm not going to remember her name, but I believe she was taking Disney characters and doing them up like full anime paintings, and online, and she was getting commissions, and she was selling stuff. And I think she had a Patreon going, and she was making like, I think she made like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was crazy money, like $250,000 the first year doing that.
Damn.
She didn't have to draw Spider-Man.
Man, Lovern, I just got to say, it's been a pleasure. I feel like my partner and my co-host over here is about to pass out a little bit because I just seen
Oh,
a
no.
phone slip. You see that? Look,
Shut
all I got to say is check out episode 2 of Kickstarting Comics. He wasn't there the whole fucking time. It was kind of funny, right?
Okay.
Look at him making a pouting
I
face.
I fell asleep because I was running. It was
It was,
late,
hey,
and
no
I
excuses, Hardaway. You didn't get sleep. Life happens, whatever. We're trying to do madness over here. This is a quest.
worked.
Sometimes questers get tired. You know what I mean? It rightly
Yeah.
happens, right? I know probably everybody in this room is like, man, I'd like to be to fucking bed right now, right?
We are all human.
That's just a fact. You know what I mean? And I ain't even going to say anything about that. But look, Lovern, it has been a pleasure. I definitely want to bring you back in the future, man. I've got to, we're going to have to look, like I said, we got a round table coming up here next week. We're going to have several round tables, man, because we're going to start to get all these artists, all these writers, everybody together.
It's going to be brilliant.
And we're just going to see what happens, right?
It is. It's gonna be
Well,
great.
let's hope it's everything.
I just hope it don't go sideways when I accidentally bring on two people that like hate each other and I'm not aware of it.
That'd be pretty unlikely.
I hope so, man. I don't need that. Thankfully, this ain't hip hop because I like if it's common, like y'all will be more hospitable and not openly hostile about it. Trust me, if it was hip hop, it would get ridiculous, right? It would. You'd have people screaming at one another and this and that. And I don't need all that in my life, man. I need people to go get their comic on, right?
There's a lot more money involved in that, so maybe that's why the stakes are higher.
Dude, look, it ain't even about that. No, bro, there's a lot more ego.
It's an ego thing.
Lovern.
It's an ego thing.
As a hip hop artist,
I don't have one of those.
Well, look, man. Before we do wrap this interview, I gotta say, man, can I just ask you to be like, yo, this is Lovern. I ain't mispronouncing your last name again.
Now you got Lovern. That's good enough. Hey, when I autograph books, I only sign Lovern. I don't write Kindzierski down because the covers aren't big enough.
Oh shit! But then just say, make sure you check out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7. And maybe some other days. And then if you want to add in anything, go ahead and add it in, man. And God, I got editing to do.
Okay. Say that again, because I am the worst actor in the world.
Oh, you're good, bro. This is Lovern. This is Lovern. Make sure you're checking out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7 and maybe some other days. I'm adding shit. Motherfuckers is going to be like, would you stop adding shit? Hardaway's probably like, would you stop adding shit?
Please, because you're getting further away from me actually achieving.
Yeah,
this.
you just stop. All we need you to do is say, "Hey, this is your name."
Yeah.
Listen to the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's it.
And then if you want to add something in as far as about you, that's fine.
No. Okay. Hey, this is Lovern Kindzierski, and you need to check out the questionnaire every Wednesday at 7. I mean, you do.
Hell yeah, Lovern. It has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. And like I said, I will definitely be keeping in contact. We've definitely got some more madness coming over here on the Quest. I do just want to say, though, man, if you've made it through this long-ass interview, which I think there are 2 interviews here, Hardaway, that you're right. I'm at least going to have to cut into 2 parts. Shut up, right? You could go ahead and send Lovern a nice new 10-speed bike, right? Either that or some ham, apparently, right? And the man will be happy.
Giffen started that. Giffen started that one. I told him. We were talking about something, and he was, and I was, I don't know, we were talking about food, and I mentioned that. And when he did Trencher number 4, he put in something about me, and he was like, he was saying something like, yeah, that Kindzierski is so hard to control, you know, he just can't keep his hands off the ham or something like that. And so I would go to conventions, and people would say, hey, you want to take a break and get a ham sandwich? Yeah.
Well, get the man a ham sandwich or a 10-speed bike, like I said. Now, if you've not enjoyed this interview, if some part of it just made you go, that motherfucker Lovern, I swear, then what I want you to do is I want you to send him an angel singing some real corny country songs. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And he probably won't like that. This is the questionnaire. I think we're at episode 16. I might wait. No, that's way the hell off, man, because I just dropped episode 15. We're like 20 something. I don't even know at this point because it's a quest. And when you're on a quest, the point is to get and continue and have an adventure. Fuck some numbers, man. But the numbers are episode. You know, the episodes are numbered. That we
just have fun, everybody. Just have fun and be polite.
That's right.
Fuck the destination. Fuck the destination. Enjoy the journey.
That's right.
Indeed.
On that note, man, I am the unknown factor.
And I'm JD Day Hardaway.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure having Lovern in the house. Make sure you click the links, check on his work, get your comic on, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Continue the quest with us. Continue the quest with us. Fuck, it's getting late. Have a good night, y'all.
Oh, yeah. It's later than you think.
Hey, I got monsters running around roaring in my house, so I gotta go.